Hello everyone and welcome to Daria Draws. You have seen me paint so many times, but we never really got to chat, so I decided to record this video, take a little break from painting and just share a little bit more about my work, kind of behind the scenes. Maybe some of you can relate to the things I'm going to say, or you would just hear another opinion on what it is to be an artist in home studio. Welcome to my introvert's paradise. As you can see, we have a guest of honor in this video. Now, I would like to begin by saying that I am very happy and very grateful that I have this opportunity to have a whole room to myself that I have converted into my own art studio, with which I am so happy how it turned out. Everything is very functional, very clean and tidy. I can literally close my eyes and I would know exactly where things are because I have placed them there, and that kind of organization makes sense to me. Perhaps some of you might think that working alone can get lonely and boring and perhaps uncomfortable at times, but for me it is absolute blessing. It is a blessing for my creativity and for my efficiency. I have never been this productive before, and I think a huge part of that productivity really comes from the space. Every single morning when I wake up and walk into this room, I just feel very calm and I can hear my thoughts. And of course, the travel distance is absolute zero, so I have no excuses for not working or just not feeling like driving somewhere. I may not seem like it, but I am a very shy and introverted person in real life. I find it sometimes very difficult to talk to people. I stammer, I can't find the right words to say, so I end up feeling like an idiot at the end of the conversation. So eliminating that stress in my everyday life, I can actually work better, feel better, and if I seek some kind of socializing, I can always do that outside of my work. I wanted my studio space to be very functional, clean, and peaceful so that I can concentrate on my work and nothing else will distract me from it. So you will not see any colors that are overly bright or any patterns that can clutter up the space and trigger some kind of anxiety, I guess. So even the decor that I have is kind of art related and it's quite neutral in colors. And of course my paintings are the focal point of this whole room, and it kind of brings me so much peace just being here and working here. And sometimes I would just have my coffee in this room and I don't really need to go out from here. Apart from that, I have a lot of art albums, which are also a big essential part of the studio. Some of them are gifts from people who know that I collect such books. I brought some of them myself from other countries as souvenirs. And apart from being those incredible memories, it's just a huge amount of knowledge and inspiration, and it's like my own little museum that is available to me 24/7. And if I need a creativity boost, I can just flip through those pages and just get all the information that I need. I know many people prefer to work in a group with their colleagues. That's how they get most of their socializing throughout the day and perhaps get some new ideas. But I never really struggled with getting ideas for my artworks. I have been burnt out before, of course, that happens, I suppose, to every creative out there. But in general, I don't need other people to inspire me. And most of my artworks just kind of come within. And just because I guess I paint my own emotions and kind of filter everything through my own prism, I don't really need other people to be present in that process. If anything, I feel like other people actually distract me just by buzzing in my ear, trying to talk to me, and that used to happen when I was a student as well. But I will talk a little bit more about shared studio spaces later. Even though I do prefer to work alone, it doesn't mean I'm a hermit in all of the aspects of life. Of course, I do have friends and family, and I do attend social events, maybe not as often as someone who's more extroverted would, and I do have to recover after them mentally, but I feel like socializing for me is a different task that is not necessarily related to my work, and therefore I can just do it during my personal time. So of course my work is very important to me. I love it a lot, but it doesn't consume 100% of my time, and I feel like balancing work and life is very important in order not to burn out and to just stay productive in general, because if you don't rest, you can't really work. And from that, of course, I have an incredible company of my cat, and David right here. He's quite pretty, a bit brainless, but I guess that'll do for now. Here he is, the owner of the studio that we're filming in, and he lets me to do all of this rent-free. Can you imagine how lucky I am? Now, here's why I could never share a space with someone else. I have studied in 3 different academies, of course. They all had slightly different approaches, but I noticed that each person has a certain preference of how they would like to organize their workspace. So each student would have like a little table with wheels, and that would be your workstation, so you can do as you please with it. And of course mine used to be very organized, but not all colleagues agreed on that, and perhaps they preferred the more stereotypical artistic setup, which actually bothered me a lot. But that wasn't honestly the main reason, but of course that also distracted me quite a bit, so that ended up in me being slightly less productive. However, the main reason is that people, I guess, have different visions of what an art studio should be like and what it should feel like. For instance, I had a lot of arguments with my colleagues about not smoking in the area, because an art studio as it is has so many odors that are not very pleasant, not very healthy for you either. And smoke just is very gross. It's a terrible addition to all of that, and I didn't want to be a passive smoker either. So yeah, that we never actually agreed on anything, and I always just used to ask them not to do that, at least when I'm around. The only con I would find is that you have nobody to check your work, have maybe a fresh eye, give you a couple of advices when you need it. But I did solve that issue just by having a very close friend who is also an artist, so I just sent her the pictures, and she tells me exactly what's off. There is also, of course, the aspect of a healthy competition where you want to just improve yourself and look at others to compare yourself to. And honestly, I find that absolutely unnecessary in this day and age where we have social media and so many talented artists that you can relate to and healthily compete with. Also, if you would like me to talk on some other art-related life subject, please do feel free to comment that. You never know, I might make a video about it. Just waiting for the garbage truck to move. Maintaining discipline and following a routine has never been a problem for me. That's how I've been raised. I did a lot of after school activities. None of it was forced onto me. I just truly enjoyed doing different things and being busy. So now when I'm an adult, it is quite natural for me to do that. Sometimes it is hard to motivate yourself and you need a little boost from someone. And I find workouts really helpful. I go to the gym 5 to 4 times a week, and that actually helps me build my schedule a little more in a more structured way. So I know exactly the time where and what I need to do, and that leaves me less time for procrastination, and I actually get things done a lot quicker, and I have this need to be a little bit more involved and concentrated on the tasks that I'm doing. So I'm actually quite curious, what do you think about working from home alone like I do? Would you be able to do that? Is that also your productive haven, or would you suffer in such conditions? Sometimes I wake up and I'm not particularly excited about work. I guess that happens to everyone. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're burnt out. Sometimes you just have to really push through, and the desire to complete the task comes during the process. So just kind of make yourself start the task, have that coffee, and then it's gonna get easier. But let's be real, nobody is a machine. Sometimes there are those days I just can't force myself to work. So I try to either do another task that is also productive or completely take a day off, because if I'm not doing a commission that doesn't exactly require inspiration, I do need inspiration, and if I burn out, it's going to take even longer for me to recover from that if I just took one day off. And what keeps me going is kind of seeing the bigger picture, so I can kind of outline how I want my career to develop as an artist, and I stick to the actions that lead me there. So it's the little things that really pave the way for the bigger achievements, I guess. And once you think about it, the laziness is really like stepping back. And that's a wrap for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see me paint, you can click over here. If you want to binge my videos, you can click down there. I'll see you in the next one.